guess I should start off this video by admitting it's a weird situation because I directly made this video like 5 seconds after I did one about Go Fiber, where I put it in my hair to test it out on this hair length to see what would happen. And as you can see, my hair is not long enough for it to do its trick. My hair is too short still. But I thought, you know, I want to do this spin-off because at the end of that last video, I had this revelation. And I've already been thinking I probably need to make a video about this. So you know how in the past week I've made 3 different videos for other guys who either reached out on Max De Silva's Facebook page, or they made a video and then they tagged me in it and they said, hey Nick, check me out. How's my hair look? Should I shave it off or not? And so as I've been doing this, here's something that's the main takeaway, the main theme for me that I need to share with you. Just because your hairline is noticeably thinning, it doesn't mean that it looks bad. And I think that we need to talk about that. And again, I'm gonna recognize that I put Go Fiber in my hair and it may be a little bit distracting because obviously, again, it's too short to work, but I don't care. I'm Nick Shell and I get to do whatever I wanna do. If I wanna make a video about something completely other than Go Fiber while having Go Fiber in my hair and it looks weird, I'm Nick Shell. I control my own life. I control my own emotions, whereas other people let other people control them emotionally. If I have that much control of my life, I can make a video with mismatched Go Fiber. With that being said, I think a lot of people, once they start noticing that their hairline's changing, and whether it is the temples going back making a Norwood 1, or whether it's the Norwood 2 making the V, or sort of kind of going the territory mine is where it's more getting rounded off and going towards Norwood 3, just because you have an even noticeably receding hairline, it doesn't mean it looks bad. It just means that you have a receding hairline. It's not until the thinning kicks in that it's a problem. That's why you can be a Norwood 3, and as long as you have no thinning anywhere, so what? Your hairline's going back and it's noticeable. And maybe at that point your hairline isn't so suitable to have Justin Bieber bangs, but why would you want that anyway? And I think as I'm making video responses to other people who are Norwood 3, I'm realizing that I think culturally, a lot of people watching my videos that land up on the shores of my channel, they make this connection that instantly, if you have a receding hairline, it undeniably looks horrible and you should just shave off your hair. Nick Shell does not teach that. Nick Shell does not believe that. I believe even if your hairline is noticeably receding, which many men's are, it doesn't mean it looks bad. And it doesn't mean you should freak out about it. And it doesn't mean you need to shave it all off. A lot of men are Norwood 3, and as long as there's no noticeable thinning, who cares? It really doesn't make that much of a difference, even if it's noticeable. And again, I think a lot of guys who have a Norwood 3 or even 2 or 1 think the moment their hairline becomes noticeably receding that they are basically judged on a different system by society, that they're less valuable because that now they have the DNA that led them to have this receding hairline, that is noticeably, undeniably less attractive. And I say hogwash, Hogwarts, Wiener Schnitzel, and other German words that I don't know. Though roughly a third of my DNA is German, my last name is Shell, which means loud and noisy in German. It's that simple. Don't automatically equate a receding hairline with being ugly or it not being as attractive or that it's super noticeable. As long as you got a hairline, as long as you have a hairstyle that nicely accommodates a Norwood 3, you're good to go. I mean, there are so many hairstyles that you can pull off with the Norwood 3. And yes, your hairline will show that it goes up here. But as long as you're not bringing unnecessary attention to it, you're fine. You know, if you're Norwood 3 and maybe you have you're spiking your hair straight up, maybe that'll draw attention to it. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't want to comb it straight down. Maybe you don't want to slick it back. However, I have seen men with Norwood 3 that have actually had long hair, like a ponytail, and I think it totally works. So I think a lot of times when men get towards the Norwood 3, they think that automatically that's the end? No. Norwood 4 and beyond, or diffuse thinning, can do that. But Norwood 3, so much potential there. And I feel like I've neglected to talk about Norwood 3 in a while because after for so long, all of last year, 2017, identifying as a Norwood 3, and then this year I realized really I'm more like Norwood 2.5, so I've been focusing more on that. But I don't want to neglect all of my viewers out there that are Norwood 3. You can still do most things with your hair with a Norwood 3. And please don't equate it with, oh no, my life is ending because my hairline is noticeably receding. Even if it is noticeably receding, what's funny is, in the real world, and please hear this as truth, because when you're broken and in a state of a lack of, self-esteem, it's easy to focus on one thing and assume that the rest of the world sees it the same broken way that you do. But in reality, even with a noticeably receding hairline that you notice and may be a Norwood 2 or 3, truth is most people aren't paying attention. They've got their own things they're worrying about, and they're judging you probably on more vain things than that. Like, your hygiene, and if you're annoying, if you seem immature, what is your plans for your future? They're judging you on all kinds of things. People are judging you in ways that are much more superficial than you're giving them credit for. And it's funny because people who watch my channel think they put all of this investment on how society is going to judge them due to their hair loss, when in reality, society is judging them on a much worse level than they ever could imagine. But it has nothing to do with their hair. It is their identity as a man. Is this man confident? Is he kind? Is he helpful? Can he teach people other things? Does he know his skill set? Is he able to make money? They are judging you so harshly on those things. They're not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that because I care enough about you to tell you the truth. And when I tell you the truth, I'm telling you, they're not making a deal about your hairline, even if it's up to a Norwood 3. The thinning is what makes hair loss noticeable. The hairline, not so much, because think about this. Norwood 1, straight across, temples recede. Norwood 2, it's going up to a point, but still nothing balding. Norwood 3, starting to have a peninsula here and rounding off here, but still, you still have your hair on top. It's not until Norwood 4 that this detaches, and then you've got the balding spot in the back. That's when you're truly in that balding stage where it starts changing things. That's actually, I've learned, that's when a lot of people will actually, it clicks. Oh yeah, the guy, he's starting to lose his hair a little bit. That's how people will often say it. Often they'll even say receding hairline for Norwood 4, which actually isn't receding hairline. Norwood 3, 2, and 1 are, well, Norwood 1 is not a receding hairline because it's your temples. Norwood 2, that's debatable because you've still got so much of your hairline. Norwood 3, that's a different, it gets a little bit of a gray area there. But just keep in mind, yes, society judges you very harshly, but they're not telling you the things that they're sizing you up, the way they're sizing. Because for example, and I'll close with this, for me, the way I judge people, and this is the thing, like, I know it sounds vain, like, oh, you shouldn't judge people, but we all do. And I think we need to be honest in how we do it. And I think the way that we judge people speaks to our own identity. Now, do I judge people on whether they're good looking or not? I don't care. Superficial stuff like that, no. I reduce people to psychology. That's what I do. I learn to look at a person into their soul and see psychologically where they're at. If they put a lot of value in what other people think about them, I already know that they don't have much of a strong identity. Because how ironic is it for your self-esteem, self-esteem to be based on what other people think about you? That's not self-esteem. That means you don't have an identity. And I know that about so many of the people who watch my videos, and that's why I keep speaking to that, because I know that it's a very important part. Many of you are too young, and you haven't been beat up enough in life like I have to realize what actually matters in life, how people actually judge you, and what actually gets you further ahead in life. Hair is not the way to get ahead in life. Knowing who you are and being confident is. Not letting other people emotionally affect you is. And I'll keep reminding you of that. Why? Because I'm Nick Shell. Let's face it, I'm the only person in your life. I'm the only person in your life who's telling you these things. You're not hearing this from anyone else. Everyone else lies, lies, lies. Nick Shell doesn't lie to you. He cares enough to tell you the truth, even if it doesn't sound like the truth. But sometimes the lies that you believe, that you tell yourself, that society believes, that sounds more like truth than the actual truth that Nick Shell tells you on a daily basis.